Welcome back to my channel. Listen, per request, I am doing a reaction video to the second Diddy video on Tubi. I think it's called The Downfall, The Indictment. And this is the Tubi video where TMZ does a deep dive and they're actually interviewing Diddy's attorney. And then they got some other surprise people in here that I'm like, why are you on this video? Like, why are you giving commentary to this, Mr. Adam Grant Mason weirdo? Anyways, let me hit play, y'all. Let me know your thoughts about this, okay?
Indicia of lack of consent. And they said, absolutely not.
And they seize cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs. More than 1,000 bottles altogether.
How do you explain 1,000 bottles of baby oil?
He has a big house he buys in bulk. You know, I think they have Costco's in every place where he has a home. I mean, have you sat in a parking lot of a Costco and see what people walk out of there with?
Let me stop right here. By the way, Costco did give a statement. They basically said, don't put us in your shit, please. We ain't got nothing to do with you buying in bulk. We don't support free cops. So Costco did a statement. Now, Mr. Attorney Mark, you don't have to do better than this. Let me tell you, because I come with these articles, to show you guys a different way in which, people are a different argument to what they're saying. Costco denies Sean Diddy Combs' lawyer claims that he bought baby oil in bulk at wholesale giant. Costco's like, listen, we are not trying to get involved in the like let us do us. Don't put us in this bullshit. What if Mark would have said Sam's Club? Because they sell in bulk too. But Costco is pushing back on claims by Sean Diddy Combs' lawyer that the rapper vast baby oil collection was purchased at one of the wholesale giant stores. Diddy's lawyer implied that the hip-hop mogul had a large supply of baby oil because he shops at Costco. After U.S. attorneys alleged they found 1,000 bottles of the product at Combs' mansion, which they claim he used for freak ops, multi-day drug fuel sex parties that Diddy allegedly lured and coerced women to join. He buys in bulk. So we've caught the attorney saying that. The company just wanted to push back on that. So TMZ actually contacted the spokesperson, and the spokesperson was like, no. Don't put us in this mess. And by the way, there were some people who said that they're Costco employees in my chat. And they left comments and they said, shout out to my supporters. They said, I work at a Costco. We don't sell baby oil like that. Anyways, let me stop laughing and hit play on this.
Not 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
Cassie running for her life. I cried my eyes out.
I'm going to show that video over and over and over about what happens to women that won't change their stories.
Combs did not do this all on his own.
If there are higher up people that are still famous right now that are on these videos, Hollywood is going to just implode.
Does this compel you to put him on the stand?
I don't know that I could keep him off the stand. I think he is very eager to tell his story.
Your reaction to this really stunning indictment?
I'm very surprised, Harvey, that you say you're stunned. What, you need another decade of Sean, aka Puffy, aka Diddy, aka Love Combs?
Oh my God.
Brutalized.
So let me stop right here. Nancy does what Nancy does, right? I will say, I was asking my mods the other day, I said, you think I could buy like a Nancy wig? Because her hair has always kind of stayed the same. And I'm like, I really want to just put on a Nancy wig and see if I can do what she does. I think it's fantastic. But the way she starts this video is like, oh my God, like, are you really surprised? I don't think any of us are surprised about what's going on. I think that our bingo cards have switched up a little bit. That's for sure.
Women, stunning. I'm only stunned it took so long.
Diddy has dodged
Well, Not only that, but I'm also like, there's so many people involved that it's only just one person right now. Like, it's only Diddy. We need to get the people behind Diddy. That's for sure.
A lot of legal bullets in the past. Does this one feel different to you?
It does. This one feels different. As you know, Harvey, you don't have the feds raid your homes unless they have something of substance, something significant.
Federal law enforcement agents have raided properties owned by musician and producer Sean Diddy Combs.
There's got to be something there in order for them to put themselves in a position with someone who is so powerful, who can retaliate, who has the authority and the means to be able to fight cases. To put yourself in that position, there must be something there.
Let's switch our focus to the government. In my opinion, I'm just going to say it the way it is. No friend historically of the successful black man. Okay, none. And they start making this case, in my opinion, as a takedown of a successful black man.
I think what is interesting and what was surprising to me was when I read the indictment, I dissected the indictment, and I looked at count 2, which is the sex trafficking count, the sex trafficking by force, coercion, and fraud. It only names one victim.
Hey, Cassie, how are you? How do you feel about all the allegations with Diddy going on right now?
And I believe that's Cassie, his longtime girlfriend. It only names that one victim, where there's so many women who've come forth with civil claims, looking for money, making allegations against them. Now, there's only one named victim in that count, and that's
Okay, let me stop right here because I want to piggyback a little bit in a question form. And I want you guys to let me know what you guys think in the chat about this, right? If there's only one named victim and we have so many, I mean, hell, we counted yesterday, it was like 63 plus at this point of civil suits. All right. Why aren't there more like victims added to this complaint at this point? Or why aren't there more people? Or why aren't, like, what do you guys make of that? Because I could see that the argument is going to be that on the other side, if that makes sense. And that's why I'm probing you guys the question in the chat. In your opinion, why do you think we don't have any more counts to this, complaint, this indictment, these charges?
count that everyone seems to be talking about, that he's involved in sex trafficking and he's using force and coercion. It's one named victim in that count. And that's surprising to me considering the amount of alleged victims there are in this case.
Do you think the fact that your client is a very big celebrity played a part in the Fed's decision to indict him?
I think it played the biggest part. I think it played a prominent part. I think that if he's not a big celebrity, he's just going about his life, without interference from the U.S. government.
Even though a lot of...
Well, let me stop right here. Some of you guys in my chat have said, Rabbit, he's an informant. Diddy has always been an informant. Say more. I want to know, what do you guys think about that? And would he tell people that he's an informant if that was the case? What was he promised? What was he given? Time? Was he buying time? Were the people buying time? And I just saw this. Look who comes on the screen. Mr. Adam Grant Mason. I don't know why he's giving commentary to this, because I could definitely see a situation where he's getting caught up in his own little situation as well. Allegedly, in my opinion. Okay. I'm just going to say that.
A lot of people now claim that they basically had knowledge of this, and it certainly was whispered about prior to it becoming common knowledge. I do think that it's probably one of the most seismic events in the history of hip hop.
I have never read 14 pages that contained so many shocking information and allegations.
1, 2, 3. This is the type of indictment you would expect from someone in the mafia, not somebody who runs a clothing line.
Matter of fact, you can call me Sean John.
An alcohol brand.
Let's be clear. Ciroc is for the culture.
So mafia, in my opinion, is, what is it, more family underground type of situation where Diddy is like, people know because they've seen. There's been so many stories. So it may be a shock to a lot of people that haven't been on the know or have selectively decided not to know. But some of us kind of knew,
Someone who was at the top of the hip hop world.
What y'all wanna do? Wanna be ballers, shot callers, brawlers.
To hear charges of transportation, of prostitution, sex trafficking, it was pretty astonishing.
You mentioned the mafia. The mafia tends to operate underground.
Yes, they do. Right? Family underground. Not as loudly. At least when I have, studied some of the crimes, with the mob, it's a little bit different that way. And, there's all kinds of, different mobs and stuff like that. So keep that in mind. But I have always felt like it was underground, family based, and the crimes are always very outwardly. The messages are sent very differently than, say, like los norteños, los sureños, like a different type of, gang and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. It's a little, every criminal enterprise is a little bit different, if that makes sense.
Diddy operated way above ground for 16 years, according to the feds. And there were maybe whispers about this, but none of this came to light.
The reality is Diddy has had run-ins with the law several times, and it seems he always has gotten away with it. So this was really just a buildup. He was
and this one right here is 2001, Puffy not guilty in gun case. See, I'd never seen this one here. Or maybe I have. It's been quite some time since I've done a deep dive and everything with the articles. So yes, that's correct. Like, he's gotten away with a lot of stuff. He's been able to get away. Guys, in the civil suits, if you read any of them, it will tell you that with these freak-offs, these parties, officers were also participating in this shit. He was buying people out. To me, it is not surprising that he gets the key to the city right around the time that he's trying to fix his image. Okay? New York Times writes like a fluffy piece about him. He gets the key, and then this lawsuit drops. He knew that this lawsuit was coming from Cassie. What he didn't know was going to happen was that there would be an indictment. That if he didn't, do something, right? Like, people were going to come at him the way that they are. He really thinks that by him testifying, he's going to be able to essentially pull himself out of this one, if that makes sense. That's what he thinks is going to happen. And I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. There is no way. And, part of me wonders whether he's actually going to rat any people out. If he's going to drop names at this point. Especially if he's going to testify. If his life is on the line at this point. If Puffy has not done this before, where he's just put out names, because he really hasn't. Why would he do it now? He might regret it after, if he's found guilty and then he's sentenced. But I don't know if he's just going to put out names anymore, or any names at all, or if he has at this point. You know what I mean? I think part of the names that have been dropping is because of witnesses that have been interviewed. I don't know if it's Puffy exactly. So I'm kind of wondering about this.
of course going to operate in plain sight because nothing ever happens to him until now.
I guess I'd say America loves a story of a good rise. America loves a story of a huge fall. And this is certainly up there, with any that we've seen. But, I certainly didn't have any of this stuff on my bingo card. Covering Puffy for, over a decade. There's a lot you can say about the guy, but, this stuff just didn't come up in my reporting, and I think it took all of us by surprise.
Am I surprised by the allegations? No. These are rumors that have been floating around the industry for decades now. Some people have seen them firsthand. Some people have just heard about them, directly. But many of us who've been in the music industry or music industry adjacent have been aware of Puff's behavior for many years.
Freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant.
They called them freak-offs. But, you know, back when I was a kid in the late 70s, they were called threesomes. This was, you know, with the woman that was his woman at the time.
Cassie, eyes over here, please. Cassie, that's about
And allegedly a third person. I've spoken to about a half a dozen of these different men involved, and I asked them, was there any indicia of...
Wait a minute. So the lawyer has spoken to half a dozen men that are involved, right? He's letting us know in the 70s this is called threesomes. These freak-offs, it's said that they, you know, they were going days upon days. They had to get on IV fluids because of this. Yeah, I don't know about the way he's framing this, but, you know.
Lack of consent. And they said, absolutely not. We would never have gone forward a single step had it seemed like anybody in that room was not consenting. Was anyone high, too high? Was anyone drunk? No one was too high. No one was too drunk.
If these are genuinely...
Hold up. No. Then why do they need the IV fluids? I guess I'm just like wondering about this. So Mark is making the argument that they were sober enough to consent to these freak-offs. Nobody was too high. Okay.
Threesomes. How do you explain 1,000 bottles of baby oil?
I don't know where the number 1,000 came.
The U.S. attorney said it.
I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean, you know, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
Well, the attorney said that they had confiscated the baby oil and it was a combined number between the baby oil and the lubrication or something like that. It was a combined number. Now, the people here have been saying that the baby oil, I haven't found in this, if there's articles, an attorney or somebody in the court that has substantiated this, but the rumor is that the baby oil and the lubrication probably contain GHB or some shit like that. Let me know in the chat if you've heard the same, because I have heard you guys in the comments say, Rabbit, it's not baby oil, it's something else. Was baby oil code for something else? I never heard that before, but then why wouldn't the attorney just say the baby oil was laced with something else? With some paraphernalia? I don't know, just something like that. That would have let us know that there was more to this baby oil.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way. I don't know what you need 1,000 for. I mean,
ask your client. Why did he need 1,000?
He has a big house. He buys in bulk. You know, I think they have Costco's in every place where he has a home. I mean, have you sat in a parking lot of a Costco and see what people walk out of there with?
No, have you? I don't give a shit what people buy at a Costco. Typically, it's like, what do you buy at a Costco? Toilet paper in bulk? That's for sure if you got a big-ass family. Maybe some canned goods. They got some, you know, stuff in bulk, different things that they don't typically sell at regular stores that you're like, oh, I want to try this. You know, that's the typical stuff at a Costco.
Not 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
I don't think it was 1,000. I think it was, let's just say it's a lot. Okay.
It was combined. That's what he said. It was a combination between the lube and the baby oil.
Okay.
The U.S. attorney has said that the freak-off parties are going to be the core of this case. I've covered a lot of cases in my day. I cannot think of a single one that is more salacious than United States versus Sean Combs. I cannot think of anything that even comes close.
I can't either. And, you know, again, if we start hearing the details of what went down at these parties, I mean, I remember back in the day, the allure of a Diddy white party.
You're gonna hear about my party, they're gonna be shutting them down, they're gonna probably be arresting me, doing all types of crazy things.
Everyone wanted to be there. It was so secretive. And to know that these parties will be on Front Street, we are gonna hear what happens, not just at these parties, but obviously these after parties. I kind of am hoping to hear the details, even as terrible and sordid as it may be, because it's astonishing that these things could be happening right underneath people's noses, very famous people.
If you don't,
That's right. I would agree. Like, the allure of the Diddy party is that, number one, not everybody's invited. Number two, the celebrities are invited. And number three, the secrets that come out of there, the stories that come out of there, right? And, you know, it's going to expose a lot of people. And this is why people, like, have selectively been quiet. They don't speak out. They don't say, I'm in support of X, Y, and Z because of X, Y, and Z. They don't say nothing. They've been very selective, right?
Don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right.
Got to keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but
yeah.
Broccoli, but just check it out. You need a lot of heat. A lot of heat. Yeah.
Heat. You mean that physically the place has to be hot?
You don't have no air conditioning.
No.
So you need locks at the doors. And then you need heat. What do they do? Turn on the heater? Oh my God.
Air conditioning. Why is that?
Heat affects the alcohol, and it also affects, like, everybody gets a little bit more comfortable and loose. Builds up a nice little sweat.
Yeah, that's gross. This is giving me flashbacks. So, have y'all ever been to a hot box where it's like if you drink and then people are like smoking around you, you know what they're smoking, it tends to hit you a little bit different. Oh my God. But the heat makes it like stronger. This is like, I would only imagine what this would be like, because I could see it being something like of a hot box where you literally get high contact high or plastered based on the people and what they're doing around you, in addition to the alcohol you've consumed.
Do you ever see any of that in the parties that you threw or he threw? Did you ever get any sense of that kind of eventually evolving?
My spidey senses were always on high alert. And I know that there's no safety after a certain hour when you've got drinks flowing and people behind your back doing drugs in bathrooms, 2 and 3 people walking out of a bathroom together. There's no safety in that. So could there potentially be? Absolutely. Did I see it? No, because I never stayed at a party late enough to see it.
Did you sense it?
Did I sense that there could be trouble?
So who was it? Was it Marlon Wayans who said he never stayed at late enough at a Diddy party? He admitted to showing up at a Diddy infamous throwdown, but clarified that he never personally saw any of the supposed debauchery previous partygoers have described going down at the Music Titans events. At least not the ones that he attended. So he never saw any of these freak-offs at these parties. He said that, I've been at plenty Diddy parties, I left early. And that has been the theme that people have said, that people will like leave early or whatever. They don't see anything, they don't witness anything. But they know that it's going on. That's what gets to me. It's like, but you know that there is an after party. Maybe they just don't know that people get locked in there and there's like a hot box type of situation.
There could be trouble riding on the subway. Yes, I sensed it. Yes.
There's no way out for Diddy on this. I'm just telling you, there's no way out. All he's going to be able to do now is whine about his jail. He might get a better jail. He's going to whine about his tuna fish sandwich and his bunk and his naughty roommate. Have fun with that, Diddy.
Good, man. Here's a man who has made some of the most important businesses owned by a black man. Run, owned, created, founded. The vision was that of a black man. What have we done? We have reduced him, not everyone, but a large amount of our society, to being a monster. That should make us shake in our boots.
He did this to himself. Nobody did this. He did this to himself.
This is the government scrutinizing his businesses are fine. Scrutinizing the taxes, he pays his taxes. He does everything right. What's the last vestige? We're gonna go into his bedroom. We're gonna go into his bedroom because maybe we don't like the way he's having sex.
Diddy, come on, hook us up. Hook the brother up, man.
I really wanted to get somebody who is just all over this genre.
Oh my
And I
God.
want to talk to you about the whispers. Because according to prosecutors, this has been going on for 6
Harvey, I don't know why he platformed No Jumper. I cannot. Oh, okay, whatever.
16 years at least. And yet nothing surfaced publicly until Cassie. So what were the whispers over the years? What were people saying?
There was a lot of talk of parties or Diddy parties as they're kind of known now. It was always sort of known that if you went to a party at Puff's house and were you to stay past certain hours, that you might be introduced to some sort of, massive orgy, or there was just a lot of whispers about what it might have consisted of.
This is about we. This is motherfucking bad boy, bitch. We love everybody.
Certainly, I don't think that it was common knowledge that there was so much non-consensual stuff going on or any of the seedier allegations, but it was definitely discussed.
Years ago, Diddy was on Ellen DeGeneres' talk show, and she even joked about that.
I could think of you of starting a party at like midnight. Like what time will it go till?
That's a different type of party.
Uh-huh.
It'll go from like 9:30 to.
And the fact that, like, you guys, like, Diddy and the people that attended these parties would tell you what they saw. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's no mystery. This has been put out there. It's just never really been put out in a criminal complaint, if that makes sense.
Like maybe 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then, we have the top 2 floors of the hotel.
Mm-hmm. And then it will carry on there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then no, I mean the after party.
Mm-hmm. No, I know about them. I'll listen to the music. I've heard that song After Party.
No, I mean, I think everybody knew that Diddy was a highly sexual individual and that he certainly was a fan of drugs in general.
How could this go under the radar for 16 years?
I think that Diddy, over those years before he was apprehended, I think that it was just his ego just kept inflating and he kept getting away with more and more things. If you go back to the Shine incident, that was an incident in which he assaulted somebody in a nightclub in front of, presumably hundreds of powerful people, influential people.
Prosecutors then say one of Combs' associates, 19-year-old Jamal Barrow, also known as the rapper Shine, opened fire, while Combs reportedly pulled out a pistol of his own.
And he got away with it. He was able to make this young artist basically take the fall for him.
I had nothing.
Pretty much. He did get away with it. J-Lo knows too, allegedly, and in my opinion. I think that she knew that he got away with it. And both of them profited from that situation as well. Shine served his time. Now, I'm not saying that he is innocent by no means, because clearly he participated in something, but he wasn't lying when he said what he said either,
Thing to do with a shooting in this club. I want to make this 100% clear. I had nothing to do with a shooting in this club. And I feel terrible that people were hurt that night.
I am Natanya Rubin. I'm a mom. I'm a business owner. I'm a daughter. And I am a victim of gun violence.
Yes.
3 people inside the club were injured, 2 of them critically, including a young woman with a bullet lodged in her cheek.
I am the woman who was shot on December 27, 1999 in Club New York by Sean Puffy Combs. I have said it from that day, and I will say it till I die. I just watched Shine and Puffy start backing back towards the door, like you would see in any movie when someone is backing away from a scene, but reaching to their side. They were reaching to their side, backing away from the scene to get to the front door.
That is so scary. I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I would imagine that would make time like really slow down if you're watching people backing out and they're reaching into their... That's scary. That's scary.
I turned around to tell my friends, oh my God, watch out. I think they're gonna, this is getting crazy. I think they're gonna shoot. I saw the muzzle flash and the bullet slammed into my face. I watched it. I watched both of them fire their guns.
Do you have any sense of which person fired the shot that hit you?
Absolutely. Shine was closest to the bar. Puffy was closest to me.
Remember one thing. This man testified to a jury in 2001, and he saw 12 New Yorkers look him dead in the eye and say, "You're not guilty."
Why do you think it took 16 years for authorities to really come down hard on Diddy, given what you say happened to you?
Well, and keep in mind, they found him not guilty. Clearly. I get that. But who did he pay off as well? Who did he try to pay off when the shooting happened? There was 3 people that left that nightclub. Okay? This is why Diddy has been in debt to Shine for many, many years and has helped him out. Okay? Yeah.
What happened to Cassie and what allegedly happened to many other people.
There's an old adage, every dog has his day. This victory is not just a victory for Cassie, for Little Rod, for me. It's a victory for everyone who has felt the specter of violence, oppression, wickedness, evil, whatever.
I am the fucking hardest hustler in the world. This is Savage Part 2. Don't tell me about shit. It's 2022 and I'm still a savage. Whatever I want, I get. Whatever I want, I fucking get.
People were definitely talking about his, not just his emotional abuse, but his physical abuse and his temper and his anger and his treatment of women. And there was a lot of rumor and a lot of fear.
Fear of retaliation?
Fear of retaliation, fear of reputational damage, and fear of being called inauthentic by a culture that unfortunately values sexual violence.
The personality profile that I would assess to Puffy during the years we were working together was very hardworking, ingenious, creative, demanding, prone to temper tantrums. If he didn't have his way, screamed a lot.
Did y'all know that's the hustle? You make enough money to pay everybody so you don't do shit, but be as happy as you can be. I want to be happy. I pay too many people.
I have heard that you would refer to Diddy as the problem child. Is that right?
Yes, I called him my problem child. I used to always joke that I had the notorious B.I.G. and I had the notorious VIP. And the notorious VIP is Puffy.
I don't think that's her child. I would not publicly say that anymore. I'm just going to say that.
You ready to act bad? Diddy was able to get away with lots of stuff for a long time for a few reasons. One, he was cast in the public image as the alternative to Suge Knight. Suge's the big bad monster. Diddy's the nice guy that wants to get along. Diddy is also quite charming. He will disarm you with his smile, with his conversation. And in my interactions with him, he's a very nice guy. I have nothing bad to say about him. I've never had a bad interaction with Diddy.
You know, that's a good point. Then, like Suge Knight, I think Suge Knight is Suge Knight, right? Like you see what you get. Where Diddy is kind of like this nice guy, but really not nice guy. You know, like he's really good at making you believe he's a nice guy type of situation. Yeah.
And then there's also the fact that Diddy is quite powerful.
What more do I have to do, man? Look at my hat, man. Look at my hat. Look how I show up on the Amalfi Coast, B. Am I letting y'all down? Let me know. Am I not representing y'all the right way? You know what I'm saying? The fuck?
New surveillance footage obtained exclusively by CNN appears to corroborate some of the allegations of abuse against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. The video, captured on multiple cameras, shows Combs wearing only a towel, assaulting his then-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, in a hallway at a Los Angeles hotel in March 2016.
I think the Cassie video was the moment where everybody in hip-hop basically had to stop pretending that this was all a witch hunt. I think that there was a strong incentive for a lot of people to basically say, well, Diddy, he's a sexual guy. He's a freaky guy. He may or may not be bisexual, but was he an abuser? Was he a monster? No way. I don't believe that. But then when you see that video, it's kind of hard to imagine this guy actually having a sane, rational, normal sex life when you could witness him behaving in such a way to his longtime girlfriend. So I think that when that tape hit, it really kind of changed the game.
But we are able to shun him, and he should be treated like the leper, the social leper and criminal he is. We saw him commit assault.
When I saw the video with Cassie running for her life, I cried my eyes out and wondered how she got there and how he got to a place where he could brutalize someone in that way and think that he could get away with it.
And gentlemen, everybody on this side right here.
When I got the nerve to really watch it and analyze it, I was stricken with how easily he delivered the blows.
As Ventura lies on the ground, Combs then kicks her twice.
Anybody who has watched that video, and I imagine millions of people have watched that video, you can't watch it and think that is a man that has compassion, that is a man that treats women well. There's no excuse for anything that happened on that video, and he's gonna have a hard time convincing anyone, especially a jury, that he's a stand-up guy and has been for years, and that was just a one-off thing.
I think that it is game over. There may have been a path forward before we saw him in action, but now that we've seen him physically assault Cassie, I just don't see how any of us can erase that from our minds.
Mr. Combs himself, went publicly and apologized for the video. And it was hard to watch for him. It was hard to watch for me. It's hard to watch for anyone. That being said, it is not evidence of sex trafficking. There was a certain level of toxicity and drug use in the 10-year relationship between Mr. Combs and the woman that he was in love with, very much in love with, and who was very much in love with him for a period of 10 years. Their difficulties did not stem from their intimate time together. Their difficulties stemmed from the fact that she was cheating on him and he was cheating on her.
Stop it. And how does that justify any of this, Mark? This may not necessarily be evidence of human trafficking or sex trafficking, but it's definitely evidence of somebody who is willing to harm another person. It's evidence of somebody who has no regard for life. Okay?
And what we see in that video is terrible. It's unforgivable, and we don't seek to forgive it. But it's not related to the charge.
There were the folks who would say, what was she doing? Anybody who's accused of beating a woman or putting their hands on a woman, what did she, we don't know what she was doing before that to cause him to do that. Well, there's nothing that you can do to cause someone to react that way. No one deserves
Nothing.
to be beaten like that.
What's up, Diddy? How you doing, man? How you doing, man?
Do you think the defense will try and argue to the judge that the Cassie video is so incendiary, so inflammatory, so prejudicial that he couldn't get a fair trial if the jury absorbs it, so that they would try to keep it out because it's simply too prejudicial? Is that something that would argue, and is it something that would fly?
You're a lawyer, huh? So that's the great argument, Harvey. So yes, that's something that they would argue. That's something that they definitely will argue. I would argue it because it's not tied into these freak-offs. This whole thing is about these sex romps, the sex trafficking. That's an isolated incident that has nothing to do with the sex trafficking, these freak-offs, the prostitution, the lack of consent for sex, the coercion. That is a fight between a couple. An ugly fight between a couple.
Nope. No, it's not a fight between an ugly couple. A fight, she's not throwing hands at him. She's being dragged, kicked, and stomped. Okay? That's not a fight. That there was no, I didn't see Cassie throw anything at him. I didn't see any. I saw somebody trying to leave a situation. And to further add, we don't know what was happening before the video. Was he forcing her to get into a situation with somebody else, or was he forcing her to do something she did not want to do? We don't know that. Was she leaving because she was scared at that moment, so she grabbed whatever she could, not even her shoes were on? We don't know that. See, it's people like this that really make it hard for people to, it's people like this that give the okay for things like this to happen, in my opinion. And I know it's just an attorney and he's giving an argument to the other side, but it's very hard not to get upset about that kind of commentary.
And like you just said, that will inflame the passions of a jury. Anyone who looks at that is disgusted. I'm disgusted looking at that. How do you hit a woman? I mean, it's just, to me, it's a horrible thing, and the prejudicial value will clearly outweigh the probative value in this instance. Will the judge preclude it? Probably not, the way things have been going for him, because the prosecution is going to argue it's a pattern of his behavior, including violent behavior that he employed against women.
The Cassie video was such a big deal, but really him throwing his girlfriend on the ground in the hotel hallway, that kind of pales in comparison to a lot of the things that have been alleged in this indictment. So if there's further video footage, and presumably there's a lot of this footage, it's going to be crazy.
I don't understand how this case was handled on behalf of P. Diddy, on behalf of Combs. There's no reason to have those settlement negotiations, which they were engaged in for quite some time, not agree to a settlement, let her file the case, have a front page of every newspaper have explosive allegations against your client, and then settle it one day later. That was absolutely the worst of all worlds, because what you have is now an allegation that destroys reputationally this guy. It's actually what started this federal investigation.
Had Diddy settled with Cassie before she filed a lawsuit, you and I might not be speaking today.
I agree with you 100%. There's no criminal case if that happens.
The lawyers let her file a lawsuit, settle 24 hours later, and open Pandora's box.
Okay, what do you guys think about that statement? Would it have been Cassie? Would it have been somebody else?
That's pretty incredible.
And unfortunate. Had it been settled quietly, they would have never have known about it to have the opportunity to do what they did.
He must be kicking himself for that.
You know, he is so focused on trying to right this wrong that it's actually giving him a form of strength and a form of confidence that I think is going to get him through this difficult time period. There's an adage that we have in my office: don't tell me what I did wrong, tell me what I do next. And that's where he is.
Cassie Ventura
is a male sex worker.
It's pretty stunning that Diddy's lawyer could subpoena some of the people who were at these parties, knowing they were there because there's video of them, and all of a sudden they're forced to take the stand and talk about this.
I have to imagine anyone who has participated is absolutely terrified right now. Because imagine if you started participating in these parties years ago, and now you've gone on to become a trad wife, or maybe you're just a stay-at-home mom.
And that's such a good point. Can you imagine, like, you get a call from a district attorney or Homeland Security or some shit like that, and you're over here thinking, I've changed my life. I used to party a lot. Didn't even know I was filmed. You know, that's crazy.
And that is not your life anymore. But you might be subpoenaed and you might have to testify to things that are on these videos. It's absolutely horrifying. But I will say it will be a really compelling trial.
Just wanted to give you all a taste of what it's like being in a mix, mixing a record. What you got to say?
I just want to say thank you to everybody, and I hope everybody likes the record. It's definitely an honor to be on what Puff is calling a bad boy classic.
If I'm the defense, I would also point out that there was also a financial motive here. for these women, right? It's not just consent. How many years ago was that confrontation? Many, many years ago. She didn't go to the law police at any time. She didn't go to a lawyer at any time until recently. And then instead of going to law enforcement, look, if you're a victim of a crime, the first place you should go to is the police. She didn't do that. She went to a lawyer and tried to get money, okay? And I'm just telling you what the defense would argue here. And she got money. All of a sudden, all these other victims came forward. Everyone who's claiming to be a victim was first looking for money. And that's a motive. That's proper fodder for cross-examination.
What do you guys make of that statement from this lawyer?
Good, man. Happy Wednesday to you, bro. Thank you, man.
I have interviewed a lot of people for this documentary, and a lot of them have said game over after they saw the Cassie video. Does this compel you to put him on the stand and explain it?
I don't know that I could keep him off the stand. I think he is very eager to tell his story. And I think he will tell every part of his story, including what you see on the video. So I expect it's going to be explained by the both of us. The thing that's missing from this story is the overall context of the entire situation. And when that context is appreciated, what people are going to see clearly, this was a long-term, loving, intense relationship.
There's never going to be enough context to justify that video in 2016. Just can't. No way.
That had mutual infidelities. And that is the reason why you see some of what you see, on the video.
It's kind of breathtaking that what you're telling me is that Diddy is going to take the stand and he will be cross-examined about this video, about the violence in the video, about the freak-offs, about allegedly blowing up a car, all of those things. That feels kind of dicey.
He has his story, and he has a story that I think only he can tell in the way he can tell it in real time. And it's a human story. It's a story of love. It's a story of hurt. It's a story of heartbreak. I mean, when he describes that relationship, the word he uses more than any other word is heartbreak. He was heartbroken. She was heartbroken.
Are you doing all right, man? Are you okay? Are you all right, man?
You mentioned earlier about a racial component here. Do you want black people on this jury?
I've never been one to do that when picking a jury. I want people who are sensitive to the issues that I think are important.
What kind of a jury do you guys think needs to be selected for this? I don't know. This is going to be a tough one. I just want to know what you guys think in the chat. In your opinion, what kind of a jury should be in this trial? Like, in order for this to be fair, but also in order for justice to be served at the same time, if that makes sense. What kind of a jury should be selected in your opinion?
Would you be open to a plea bargain?
Well, it's not up to me. It's up to Mr. Combs, and I don't see it happening.
Why?
Because he believes he's innocent. He believes he's innocent, and what's more, he believes that he needs to stand up, not just for himself, for his family.
He's not. I would take a plea. What? He believes he's innocent? Of course he believes he's innocent.
And for everybody who's been targeted by the federal government. He feels an obligation to those people to say, you know what? Maybe I can break the model. Maybe I can show the world that a black man can win, in federal court. And I think he probably is the only person I know of who might be able to actually accomplish that.
What's his state of mind right now?
His state of mind is actually remarkably positive. I spend several hours with him every day. I'm going to leave you and go see him now. And his resolve is strong. He's engaged. He's focused on his defense. And we see him every day. And he is come to terms with the fact that this is where he is for now. We are trying to get this matter to trial as soon as possible.
About Diddy without bringing up all of this negative shit as well.
It's an asterisk. It doesn't negate what you've been able to achieve. Far be it from me to ever act like, I mean, I danced to quite a lot of those songs. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. Nothing about me is a hypocrite.
Yes.
He is an icon. He has been an icon all these years, and he is an icon with an asterisk now. You can be a phenomenal musician and a monster.
I don't care about his legacy. I don't give a.
We've been knowing that, right? Like, you can be a great musician, a great artist, a great producer, actor, whatever, a great whatever, and also be a monster. Two things can be correct at the same time.
Is Diddy concerned about his legacy, given everything that's come out already, even if he's found not guilty?
That's a very good question, and honestly, I haven't asked him that. I'm gonna venture an answer. I think he views his legacy as being a fighter. I think he views his legacy as someone who has worked very, very hard to get everything that he earned. And if he can work hard and earn a not guilty verdict in the eyes of 12 New Yorkers, I think that would be consistent with his legacy.
Well, that was just a little reaction to this downfall, the indictment, Diddy thing. You know, TMZ is going to do what TMZ does, which is they're going to promote and do their, you know, stuff, of course. I think it's interesting. Like I said, I feel like TMZ is so trashy sometimes because they typically, you know, they're able to make stories go away. They're able to sell, to buy stories, different things. So it's like, well, now you're speaking on the downfall, which I'm just wondering, what did Diddy do for you in TMZ? Because they have profited so much from him, and now they're reporting on the downfall. And I've always side-eyed TMZ. Let me know your thoughts and comments. I'll see you guys on the next one. Rabbits out. Bye, guys.